Ashton is an international trade expert. She's currently Director of Business Advisory Services at the U.S.-China Business Council. I spoke to her about how the trade war is affecting stock markets.
Markets have reacted with volatility to all of these announcements all year long. And, although yesterday the discussion was around the president blinking, this being some sort of de-escalation, reality check. This is still an escalation. This is still a new round of 10% tariffs on $110 billion worth of Chinese imports, starting almost immediately on September 1st. It's going to affect kids' clothes. It's going to affect sporting equipment for teams right as kids are going back to school here in the United States. And then there's a second round already scheduled for December 15th that will affect toys and consumer goods right as we head into Christmas.
The president says, when we listened to him yesterday, he said he doesn't want to hurt customers during the busy holiday season. That's why he backed off some of the tariffs while delaying others until December. Anna, what happened to his argument that China is bearing the brunt of these tariffs? I mean, isn't that what we've heard all along?
It is absolutely what we've heard all along, and we have continued to push back against that because that's just not the case. I mean, it's refreshing that he seems to be admitting now that actually American companies and American consumers take on the cost of these tariffs, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be stopping him from escalating.
Some say President Trump blinked. You disagree. China may use this delay to its advantage is something else we're hearing. What does that even mean?
I'm not sure what that means. The two sides are still scheduled to talk in a couple of weeks here.
Is that going to happen? Do you think it will happen?
We understand it's still planned and still scheduled. Perhaps it will change, but for now we believe it's still on. However, we've also heard from both sides that there really is a stalemate between them. That what the U.S. wants is basically fundamental restructuring of China's economy, and what the Chinese want is all tariffs removed right now. Neither side is budging, and the art of the deal in a trade negotiation is compromise, and we're not seeing a lot of compromise.
Is there a way the two sides can perhaps meet in the middle, maybe not on the most complicated issues, but on maybe smaller issues, keep the lines of communication open, and eventually make some small progress?
Certainly that's what the U.S. business community would like to see. What we were hearing before talks broke down in May was that there had been a lot of progress between both sides and a lot of trust built up on a variety of important issues that the administration had identified as the central issues for the negotiations, like tech transfer and better protection of IP. Why not, move forward with that progress and a plan to continue negotiations on the other issues so that we can get back to a situation where commercial engagement is normalized?
What about China's promise to buy more U.S. agricultural products? China says to some extent it has followed through on that promise. United States says China has not.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation because one of the problems with the way that the communication has happened between the two sides, the poor communication between the two sides, is that they're never in alignment about what they've actually agreed to. After the G20, the U.S. said that China had agreed to new purchases of agricultural goods. China didn't confirm that. After this last round of talks, the U.S. declared that there had been an agreement. China said that it had been discussed. There's never been a number put out there. We do know that Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue said a few weeks ago that China had committed to buy 20 million tons worth of U.S. soybeans, and that before May, China did buy about 14 million tons, 10 million of which have already shipped to China.